Alright, I want to see if this is working. Give me a second here. It's the first time I've streamed directly to YouTube, I think. Let me see if I'm... Is it working? Alright, I want to see if this is working. Okay, sounds good, looks good. I think so for anyway. I'm sure no one's watching anyway, so I figured in a couple months I will have been 10 years of going to Japan, which is, for me, I'm not like loaded, so it's not like I've been like a million times, but I've gone to Japan 3 times. So I figured it'd be fun just for myself, really, to look at the old Japan vlog videos, react to them, give some context, because I especially in my older videos, like I never knew how to edit videos. That wasn't clear. I just kind of smashed videos together, and I think I'm getting a little bit better over time, but yeah, it'd be kind of fun, I thought, to do this just to give some context to older videos and changes and stuff I had to do over time. But yeah, let's see. I switch it here, and let's pull up. So this was my first vlog in 2016, which was almost 10 years ago. I went in April 2016, and it was the first time I had ever left the continental North America. I had been to Canada, so I've been outside of the US, but that was my first time outside of the country. And so at this time, I was visiting my friend Josh, who's going to school in Osaka. So this was almost 10 years ago. Yeah, 2016, April 2016. And I basically went for about a week, I want to say. I can't remember. It was a little bit more. But you basically, if you don't know, you lose basically a whole day traveling there and traveling back. It's a long flight. It's like 14 hours there, 11 hours back, I think. So yeah, so let's just start the video here. So I had a hostel, and I don't think this is still there. I've tried looking this up on Airbnb, which is where I rented it, but it was only like 15 or 18 bucks a night, I think, for this hostel, and it was all handmade by this Australian dude. So this is the video from my window. It was very hot in that building, I will say. There was no AC. But so this is my first day. That's my friend Josh. And we got food. And then so this was the first day I was on my own, because Josh had a bunch of schoolwork. So I was walking around by myself. I was trying to figure out the train system. This was me trying to get to the Osaka castle, and I kept messing up. So the thing is, this was 2016, so Google Maps was pretty good back then, but it wasn't great yet, and so you couldn't, like, I don't think you could download them offline, and they had just barely added the thing where you could like take a picture and it would translate the sign. So it was kind of rough still getting around at that time. There was still, like, cell phones were good, but they weren't amazing, especially I had a crappy, like, I don't know what you'd call it, a prepaid Android, so it wasn't like I had a top shelf iPhone or Galaxy phone. If you can't tell, I was recording this on my my Motorola phone. I think it was like called a Motorola G2 or 3. And they said that phone was waterproof, and I took like a dumbass while I was on this trip. I brought my phone into the shower multiple times to listen to music while I was, and it was fine, except for the very last day I was there, my phone shut off in the shower because it got wet. And I was so scared that I wouldn't be able to get home because my phone died, and that's how I was getting around everywhere. So even though Google Maps wasn't great, I still relied on it heavily to get around, even though I clearly missed the train right away. But I did eventually get to Osaka Castle. And you can see I'm not great at vlogging either. I'm just kind of recording my face in portrait mode, or not portrait mode, in the, I don't remember, tall mode, vertical mode. And so like my vlogging skills are bad. And it's not like I've gotten a lot better, but I do think, I remember I posted a lot of these videos to Facebook originally, individual little snippets, and somebody commented like, "We don't want to see your face." Why Why is the screen?
This restaurant is all you can eat. And all
Let me see. It's not showing the whole thing because I'm looking at it on my my screen. Let me see if I can get more of it in the.
Somebody might die if this happens.
Let me back that up a little too, because I'm just realizing how it looks on the actual stream. Let me see if I can adjust this. Does that look a little bit better? Sorry, I'm new to streaming straight from a desktop, so I'm figuring out how to angle this so you can actually see what I'm watching. I realized that full screen mode wasn't looking great on the OBS or whatever. Is that? Let me see if I can move this up a little. No, that was worse. Sweet. I think that's mostly the frame though. I can probably scooch this in actually. The other fun thing is I have a MacBook now, and I never had a MacBook before, so part of it is like I'm not used to MacBook controls. Oh, is that better? I hate how it keeps expanding it. I probably should have just like downloaded these videos and put them up instead of trying to watch YouTube on stream. Anyway, that's mostly in frame. You should see it. But so let me back it up a little bit on the vlog. So this was a bar my friends took me to, and it was, or sorry, I guess it was a Nomi Hodai, which is like all you can eat, all you can drink kind of place, where you paid like, I think it was like $35 a person, but you could eat as much barbecue as you want, and they had a self-service bar, which is not something that really happens in America, and I was so shocked because this was when I was first like getting into drinking in America, and I was like an alcoholic basically already at 26, and so I was so shocked that you could just pour your own drink. I was like, this is so dangerous. Like, if you could pour your own drink at American bars, nobody would survive. It would just be, you know, every night there'd be a horrible 20 card pile up. But yeah, I was so shocked. That was definitely culture shock.
All you can eat and all you can drink, and you make your own drinks.
So yeah, and we ended up making like a suicide drink that had like all the liquor in it, obviously because we were children still. But yeah, so these are all Josh's like schoolmates and stuff. I don't really know them, but they were cool guys. And this is me borrowing a bike from my hostel and riding around some of the back areas of Osaka.
Trying to go to Shinsho-ji Temple, and the guy in my hostel lent me his bike, and he's
it's funny because riding a bike around Japan was awesome, but I could tell that bike was really crappy piece. It was like rusty. It was like didn't have great brakes, so I kind of felt like I was going to hit people.
This is melon bread.
So yeah, okonomiyaki. That was the first time I had okonomiyaki. Was in Osaka. It was really good. That was like a local. Let me pause this. That was like a local okonomiyaki restaurant. And the owner, I wonder if it's still there. The owner was like, he had all this band merch from this band with like 3 dudes that were like, you know, it just looked like a very generic band with like 3 dudes. And the owner, one of the people in the band was his son. So he had like all the band merch and like all the posters, and like he was telling me about like how his son was in this band and they played like on this big national stage, and like, so yeah, it was cool backstory of like, oh, this guy not only owns this restaurant, but then his son went on to do this cool thing. So I kind of almost wanted to like buy a CD from him, but I couldn't tell if he was like selling them or what was the deal, so I just was like nodding. And I mean, you know, my Japanese at that time was very bad. It's only a little bit better now, but still, I thought that was cool. And then all this snacks I'm eating right here, the melon pan and all these bakeries. This was another local bakery near this train station I was at. And I think it was called like Ichigo Bakery or something, or just maybe they just had strawberries all over the signs. But it was very good. and I have been back to Osaka since, but I probably couldn't find this exact train station again. I'm not sure if I'd be able to pinpoint it. Maybe if I did some reverse image searching of pictures of the area, because I did take a lot of pictures of the area. So yeah, I kind of filmed the stuff out of order from how I put it in the video, and it kind of is confusing, and I don't know why I did it at the time. I think it was also the limitation of I edited all of my videos on my phone, so on top of the framing not being amazing, I was limited by how long the video could be and how many songs I could use. But yeah, so in this part of the video, I'm going to Mount Minot, which has got like this cool waterfall, and it's pretty. It just looks very pretty. But the funny thing is, I'm pretty sure I cut in footage from So this is just a different. This is just a different area of Osaka, and it's like a temple, but it has nothing to do with where I was going at the beginning of that video. So I just edited this all very confusingly. So that's kind of why I wanted to go over it now, is just like context wise of like, if you were to actually try to follow this vlog, it doesn't make much sense because I edited this section in, which is just some random shrine not too far from where I was staying. It has nothing to do with that whole section where I was on the train and going to Mount Minot, but Mount Minot ends up being cool, and it is the next part. So yeah. Let's see. My dog is being antsy because I'm talking, and he's like, "Who are you talking to?" Let's see. I was hoping I could like get more of this video in frame. Can I do that? Does that work? I think that works. I bet it's like some setting I can mess with on OBS. It's a little bit better, huh? There we go. I'm like messing with this stuff in real time. Alright, so yeah, as you can see, that's me and Josh walking around Super Potato. Super Potato is overpriced, but even back then it was more reasonably priced. But this was also before the yen started to explode. So, but yeah, a lot of the games in this, if you were to pause and look at them, the game prices are way cheaper. Games have gone crazy expensive. Japan's prices aren't as bad, but retro gaming has gone crazy. So a lot of those games that you see in this video right now, I'm sure the prices are insane. Like there's a Mother 2, what is that, like 20 bucks? Probably about the same, who knows. There's me 10 years ago, there's Josh 10 years ago. Okay, this is Mount Minot, so we're back. We're back, and if you look, the aspect ratio just changed from vertical to full. And one of the very few normal videos I shot in this whole vlog, because I wanted to get this waterfall. So, yeah. Interesting editing style, if you can't tell. But this is Mount Minot. I keep calling it Mount Minot. I don't know if it's actually a mountain. It was just a hiking trail on Minot, which is, I believe, is spelled M-I-N-O-H or M-I-N-O-O. I'm not sure which is correct. Okay, so this is the first time I've ever gone to the Pokemon Center in person. So I also managed to get there without using Google Maps. I just looked up where it was, hopped on the train, got off the train in the town it was in, and then used signs and context clues. Luckily, it was like right by the train station, so this was not difficult at all. But it made me feel like a big brainiac at the time. So this is also towards the end of this vlog. I didn't really film that much. I was really just spending time with my friend and going around different places. So there's only I took a lot of pictures, but I didn't maybe at the end or in a different stream I can go over pictures from these trips as well, because there's a bunch of pictures of things I didn't film. But yeah, this Pokemon Center, I bought a bunch of stuff here and I don't have a lot of it anymore. I had that backpack. That backpack was like $80, which pretty much broke me at the time, but I bought it. I had that backpack for 10 years and I ended up selling it for more than I bought it for. But that was a cool retro Pokemon backpack with it had the gray sprites from the original Game Boy games. So I'm sad I don't have it anymore, but yep, look at all the Diddle Face Pokemon plush. They just had a lot of good merch that at this time I didn't know all this stuff was exclusive. I thought this stuff would be here every time I came. I didn't realize this was like stuff that would rotate away. So I was like, oh well, maybe I'll come back next time and get that, retro Pokemon stuff. And little did I know they would never bring that stuff back. So and the stuff that I did get, I ended up selling because I was broke. So, but to me, I'm glad I have the videos and the pictures and stuff, the memories of getting to go. Okay, so now we are in. Okay, I gotta find out what video we're on. So that was the end of 2016 blog. Okay, well, now we're on Team Labs. Okay, here we go. Alright, so now we're on 2020. This is my second Japan trip. So the first one we just watched, that was 2016. It was technically a solo trip in that I flew there by myself and I flew back by myself, but I was there visiting my friend Josh. He was going to school and we hung out like half of the days. The other half of the days he was at school or doing tests and stuff. So this time, so when I went in 2016, I was back then I was living in Austin, Texas, and I had roommates off and on, but it was basically just me for the better part of 6 years living alone in Austin. And so I moved after that to just outside of Chicago in 2018, and I had new roommates, and so I lived with the same roommates for the first time for years and years on end. And so when I got there, they all ended up being really big weebs as well. They were into anime and stuff, and I was like, oh, my dog is freaking because he doesn't know who I'm talking to. But yeah, so I convinced my roommates at the time to go with me to Japan, and so we all saved up for a year straight, and we started planning the trip in 2019, and then we go. Oh, stop yelling, Kelso. My dog is freaking out at me because he doesn't understand what I'm doing. Anyway, come near me. Come near me. This always happens. He can't handle that I'm talking to something that's not him. He's like, doesn't understand. He thinks that I'm talking to a person and therefore ignoring him. Anyway, guys, so 2020, we have everything figured out. We've planned this trip for a year. It's me, my friend Chris, my friend Mike. We're going to Japan. We're like, hell yeah. So a little thing starts happening in January where there's rumblings of a virus, and it's like, uh-oh, what's going on? But at this point, everything's locked in. We've got, our hostel paid off ahead of time. We had like an Airbnb with like 3 beds in it, and everything was paid off. Our flights were locked in. Like, we had reservations for different things, and so we're going. And there are people, as we get closer and closer, the trip was in March 2020, and so a lot of people, by the time this trip is about to happen, they're like, you should probably not go. It seems like things are getting bad with this corona thing. And we were like, no, like we kind of were like, especially because the people telling me not to go at that time were pretty much just my boss at Best Buy, which, you know, if I'm going to take advice from anyone, it's not going to be my corporate overlord who clearly would rather me just work. Because it's not like he wanted me to stay home to protect me, or so, like, because I had basically taken 2 weeks off of work to go for this trip. And so on top of, like, that, everything with Corona going on, they were, like, probably just wanted me to work. Because as soon as I came back, they wanted me to pretty much get back to work, I'm sure. But that didn't end up happening. So we go on this trip, and it's actually pretty awesome. But things do end up happening because of Corona. But we'll see. We'll go through it. So this was my first time, or sorry, my friend's first time. This is Chris, as you can see right here, he's sleeping. It was his first time flying on a plane, and his first flight ever is like going around the goddamn world, which is like 14 hours. So I did feel bad for him, but he was also sleeping like a baby, which I cannot sleep on a plane whatsoever. So I was shocked that he was sleeping so well, especially as the plane was landing. He was sleeping like a rock. So anyway, this is us arriving in Japan in 2020, March 2020. As you can see, we are not wearing masks. We did bring masks, but not a lot of people, even in Japan, were wearing them. It was like, you know, people who were working were wearing them, but it was just a weird time because nobody quite knew how bad things were about to get. It was still in that murky, like some areas were getting locked down, but everything was, look, there's still people everywhere here. It wasn't like lockdown had happened. So the masks thing were just kind of like a precaution thing, like, you know what I mean? Like we were, you know, people around us were wearing them, but not everybody was on it yet. A lot of people weren't wearing it, and it didn't seem like a big deal, even in Japan, where it's very normal to wear a mask. It's not like politicized like it got not too shortly after this. But anyway, this is us in Don Quixote looking at those awesome Pokemon terrarium things. But yeah, you can tell, like, we were still having a good time in the first half of this trip, and then eventually things started getting canceled, and that started to make us nervous at that point. So
the Trico is straight chilling, bro. That is awesome.
I regret not buying some of these terrariums because some of these are worth a lot of money now. They make some of them, but they don't make all of these designs anymore. So yeah, Don Quixote, you know, I'd end up going here dozens of times since after this video, but it is funny to look at all this stuff, and I'm like, some of it's like, dang, I should have bought it, because I'm sure some of that's gone up. And like that Spider-Man, look at that Spider-Man. It's a classic Mafex Spider-Man. Woody. But yeah, this is us going around. This is the second time I'm going to the Pokemon Center.
Oh no, you're good. It is cool.
See, also, the thing about this 2020 trip, this is the first time I've been in Tokyo. So I landed in Tokyo in my first trip, but I never actually went out into the city. I went straight to Osaka to see my friend and spent the entirety of my first trip in Japan in Osaka. Which is kind of weird. Most people go to Tokyo on their first trip, at least. Yeah, look at just some of the stuff they've got.
Swarovski Master Ball.
I couldn't believe like those Swarovski crystal Pokemon things. I'm sure they were. I bet they had those for sale, and I bet they were thousands of dollars. Some of the merch is a little wow. Gets a little wowed out there. Shibuya Crossing. This is the first time I've ever been to Shibuya Crossing, and it's like a rite of passage. Every Japan tourist has to go. But I remember seeing this in like Lost in Translation and stuff, and you're just like, I don't know, it feels different in person. Probably also because the march of time, but it definitely was weird being there. After seeing it in like movies and TV and stuff for years, you're just kind of like, oh, this is a real place. And it looks really big in pictures and stuff, but it's kind of a condensed little area, actually. It's funny because I've been in this area a couple times and I've never actually stopped to look at the Hachiko statue.
The hottest beats in all of Tokyo. Hey, look, I know that guy.
And then we just jumped straight to being in Kyoto. So yeah, me and my friend Mike, we took a day trip to go to Kyoto. We went to Osaka and Kyoto, and I believe my friend Chris stayed behind in Tokyo because we walked a lot the first couple of days and all of our feet were super sore. It was also really rainy the first couple of days, so our feet got soaked, shoes got soaked. But yeah, I feel like everybody ends up going to, a lot of people end up going to this shrine, Fushimi Inari, and it's cool, it's very fun, but it is a very long trek just to the first like stop. And so if you're not ready for it, especially if you're like already walking a lot, Fushimi Inari can be a little bit much. So that kind of like, if you do that, it kind of takes your wind out of your sails to do like a lot of other stuff. But here we are, we're in Osaka now on this part. And I love this shopping center. I've been to that shopping center a couple times. It's a very cool design. I forget the name of it, but it's pretty famous architecture. Alright, and then we meet back up with Chris in Tokyo.
Yeah, and you just kicked that thing's ass.
We play a lot of games. Also, you're not really supposed to film in the arcade, which I think is kind of lame. I get it because they probably don't want people causing a ruckus.
Only a pro can muster.
I mean, these games are loud and noisy as is, so. But I understand that they probably don't want people overacting and making a fool. But yeah, they ended up coming up and asking me to stop filming, which sucks because like these are some of the best memories I have. Is watching Chris play these absurd rhythm games. He's like pretty good at them for having like never played them. I was like, dang. So the thing is, like, some of these games I'm not super into them, but seeing somebody else just whoop ass at them, pretty cool.
Oh my god. They're really fucking with you.
And you can see, like, you know, there's other people in the arcade, nobody's wearing masks yet, so it's still in that kind of before area where it's like nobody really knew. Like, I don't think, you know, in a month or two, nobody would be in here touching the screen after this because of how bad Corona would get. And then sadly, a lot of these arcades that we went to, some of them ended up closing. This was right before, you know, Sega started having a lot of trouble and ended up selling off all their arcade business, and it all became Bigo's. So we got to see it just before kind of the end of an era here, these arcades in Akihabara, before they would change. And, like, you know, the coronavirus changed a lot of stuff. A lot of this stuff this was like the last bit before things would really change up. Some cool cars. I remember seeing these guys at the red light, and they were like, "Oh, what's up?" Even though they couldn't really speak English. Alright, and then we do karaoke. I'm gonna go ahead and skip the karaoke because it's painful. It's painful. Nobody should watch it. Alright, we go to the Bape store. Very expensive. Spending a lot of money on shoes and hoodies and stuff. It's probably very basic. Oh, and then this whole long section. I probably could have sped this section up, but this is the Rainbow Bridge going into Odaiba, which is awesome. I put the whole thing in unedited, but it's kind of one of the things that I'm like, when I do this, some people probably like it if you like trains and you think like this is like a cool, especially the timing of the sunset with it, it looks nice. But I'm sure a lot of people found this section boring. And if I go and look at the analytics, I'm sure a lot of people just stop watching during this multiple minute train section. But anyway, you end up getting to Odaiba River City, and there is a really cool Gundam statue there. There's a bunch of Gundam statues now in Japan, but this one is pretty cool. I like the way it transforms and goes from the red to green unicorn Gundam. I love Gundams. I like building Gundams. You know, sometimes I don't keep up on as much on the animes, but I do think, you know, I do it kind of just as a side hobby. Like, I have a couple unbuilt model kits.
Oh shit.
But yeah, this is the whole transformation sequence of the Gundam. And it's funny because Unicorn Gundam came out a while ago now.
Hell yeah.
So this is just...
What the fuck?
It is cool to see it transform the headpiece and all the different glowing lights. And on the wall behind it, it's broadcasting like a trailer for the show. Oh, what did I do? Oh no, what did I do? I like hid the controls somehow.
Dude, that was fucking sick.
But yeah, that was cool. It's also super windy. I did not realize how windy Odaiba would be. I guess because it's kind of on the water. But yeah, so this was towards the end of the trip. And I think this is actually the same day we found out that our flight was canceled, which freaked us the hell out. This might have been the next day. So this clip right here is from the last day when we go to the arcade game and we win a bunch. The one in Don Quixote. This is us in the Final Fantasy VII Cafe. Okay, so we're gonna pause it here once we get on here. So yeah. During the second half of our trip, our flight home was canceled thanks to the coronavirus getting worse in America. So at this point, Trump was like closing the borders, and a lot of flights were getting canceled. And I remember we were getting off the train coming back from the Gundam in Odaiba City, and I got a notification on my phone from American Airlines, which is where our flight was booked through. And I got a notification saying, "Hey, your flight has been canceled." And that was it. It was just like... I clicked on it, and our tickets were gone, and I was like, whoa, that was freaky. And I was just like, I didn't want to say anything to my friends right away to not make them panic, but once I clicked around and realized, like, the tickets were just gone, I was like, I told them, I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but our flight just got canceled, and we were all like, everyone was right. We shouldn't have come here. We're going to get stranded in Japan. I was panicking about money. Chris was panicking about money. We were like... We had enough money for the trip, but not for, you know, a month, 3 months, a year stranded in Japan or whatever. So it was about to get really bad if we were stuck there. So my first inkling was to call my roommate, which was one of my friends there was my friend Mike. And I was like, let's call Derek, which is his brother. And he didn't really seem to know what to do or like who to call. And so that didn't really work out in the immediate. So I knew that my backup was to call my mom. And my mom is pretty good in situations like this. So let's see. I think it even says that on the next part of this slide. It says, we got another flight back thanks to my mom calling for us, but it was scary. We still tried to have fun, but it was hard after that. In the end, a lot of the stuff we wanted to do was canceled. All the reason more to come back again. And we didn't end up coming back. But yeah, so I'm kind of like downplaying it at the time because I didn't want people to think I was super dumb for going on this trip anyway. And I'm glad I went because seeing Japan in that exact moment right before the pandemic, it was like the last possible time you could see it in that way. And I know it was dangerous in hindsight, and I'm like, you know, but I'm glad I went because it would have cost us a lot of money, and we didn't get to go back for another 3 years. So that's how long, you know, in the span of life, you know, I'm glad I went is the end result. It was scary though. So, yeah, we ended up going all the way to the airport to talk to them at the airport terminal, and there was nobody there to talk to. So we were kind of like, it was an hour out of our way to go all the way back to the airport and then come back just to find out that they couldn't help us. So I ended up getting in contact with my mom, calling her through Facebook, told her everything. She contacted American Airlines. I gave her all our information, all our names. And so she got us new flights back, for free. They just replaced so it's so annoying that they didn't try to get into contact with us. It was like, we just had to do all this legwork. In reality, I had to get my mom to do this stuff for us because nobody else really knew what to do in this situation. We were just kind of like, what do we do? So we got new flights back. It was like that we departed basically almost on the same day that we were supposed to leave. And it was a better flight because it was a direct flight, but with no layovers. So it was a quicker flight back. So that was really good. But we were freaked out. So we still had a couple of days left and we didn't want to spend any money. I was waiting to spend my big purchases at the end of the trip. So if something like this came up, I wouldn't be stuck with no money. So we were kind of scared to spend money for the last couple of days in case something happened. And, we still went around, but I think everybody could feel there was just a tone shift of a lot of the stuff that we wanted to do got canceled, reservations we had. And it was once you cross that Rubicon into the last 10 days of March, it was now things are getting serious. And I was oh crap. So we ended up we flew back, and it was so weird coming back. Let me see. It was so weird coming back because we left and everything was relatively normal, and when we came back, everything was closed. Everything was different. It was just completely, everything had shut down. So it was like we had left and returned and the world had gone upside down. And because I had flown internationally, my work didn't want me to come back to work for almost 2 months straight. They wanted me to quarantine. And I got paid for the whole time. And then I worked throughout the pandemic at Best Buy. And they eventually ended up laying me off a year into the pandemic, almost a year after my trip. So it was February 2021, and my trip was in March 2020. So it was a weird year of first couple months of the pandemic. I got to stay home and I was paid, and then going back to work in May, I want to say. And everything being weird, everything was super strange. I worked in the cell phone department at Best Buy, so it was really bizarre. Am I gonna be able to pull up my? And then I'm just gonna go here because I think the last video is right here. Here we go. Okay, so here's the last vlog. Alright, so 2023. Still living with the same roommates. That's one of my other roommates, Sal. There's me, circa 2023. And then you can see I'm still drinking, which is not a great sign. But you know what? It's fine. Here we go. Playing crane games. So I got a little bit better at vlogging in that, look, I'm actually filming full screen. I'm filming full screen.
Only for Pokemon.
I've gotten better. The quality is markedly better because phones are just way better. You can see just the jump from 2020 to 2023. This section actually is filmed partially on my GoPro. I have a GoPro.
In the Infinite Crystal Forest.
So we go to Team Labs, and again, I kind of regret editing it this way, where I put the Team Labs at the beginning, because Team Labs is one of the more interesting and cool things you can do when you're in Japan, in Tokyo.
It's
but this whole section is very long, and if you're not interested in it,
video recordings.
it's mostly walking through the Crystal Forest.
Crystal Man.
Then this section with water, where they're casting awesome leaves and fish on the ground. It's beautiful. And then there's this section where there's flower petals flying through. There's a giant auditorium, basically, and you can lay down on the ground, and they're broadcasting these flower petals it seems like it's just like randomly generated, different colors and different leaves. It's very beautiful. Again, this whole section of the vlog takes a long time because I really like this area, but I assume if you've never been there in person, just seeing a video of it doesn't really do it justice, so it's probably a little boring. So that's the first 10 minutes of my vlog is dedicated to this area that if you don't like it, you probably don't like that vlog. But it's a very cool place. I definitely recommend Team Lab. I think it's cool. Like look at that art installation. I kind of wandered off into my own little corner here. There was like nobody else. Just like this like mirror maze, and as well as flowers. But they ended up not liking that I had done that, and I think they asked me to leave after that because I had walked off from the group. So this is just a little courtyard near where I was staying. I stayed in Akihabara this time, and my hostel was like $11 a night. Highly recommend if you're gonna stay in Tokyo or any of those, do Airbnb, but not just Airbnb. Also look at their competitors. There's a bunch of like other apps that are like Airbnb, and they will give you coupons and other things for signing up for the first time. So my original price for my place was something like $15 or $18 a night, but I got it down to $11 a night just by signing up through a knockoff Airbnb like competitor, you know, and getting a really good deal. So $11 a night. Obviously, if you don't know a hostel is literally just like a cubby. It's like a little bunk bed you crawl in, and you have space to store your luggage. There's bathrooms and showers and everything you can use. But you don't have like a whole room. You have just a little bunk you crawl in, and you can close the curtain, but there's not a lot of privacy. So it is ideal for me as I'm a solo traveler, but you know, $11 a night, you can't beat it, especially because you're there to go see the city. You're there to go explore, go to do stuff. You're not there to spend time in your room. And so really you're only going back to your room when you absolutely are completely tired and sweaty and need a second to cool off and stuff and change clothes. So yeah, the number one thing I did when I was going back to my spot was change clothes, because I was there at the end of September and beginning of October here. And even then it's super, super hot still in Japan. It was like 80, 90 most days. So a lot of times I'd go out in the morning, do a bunch of stuff, and then go home to my hostel, change in, maybe shower, change into a new fresh non-sweaty pair of clothes, and then go back out for the evening and night and hang out with my friends. So the other thing is I got sick, and I don't think it was corona, but I just got like some kind of travel flu on this trip. This is 2023 now, and it always happens when you're traveling. You get sick because you're exposed to germs that you're not exposed to normally, and it sucks because you're just there to have a good time. And the first couple days, I was sniffling and I was coughing, and my roommates were like, "Get away from me!" Luckily, I was not staying with them. They had planned the trip separately from me, and I kind of planned last minute to go with them, and I ended up still saving a decent amount of money. The only thing I kind of probably overpaid on was my flight. Could have got my flight like $200 or $300 cheaper had I booked it sooner. But yeah, so right here I'm at Denny's ordering a pancake and some alcohol, because this summer, the summer of 2023, had been particularly rough for me. So I was drinking at the time, and now I don't. I'm 2 years sober. Actually, this the last time I drank was in Japan, so pretty much October 10th or something like that was the last time I had a drink. And that was the last time I was in Japan. So but yeah, this vlog, or not just the vlog, but this trip is kind of what convinced me. Now I'm trying to like figure out how I can go back to school, learn Japanese. Eventually maybe I could move or live there. This is long-term stuff, like maybe 5-10 year goal. Like I'm not gonna rush anything, but a lot of people have said it's doable. And something about this trip just kind of convinced me, like, it's not just that I'm here on vacation. I really like being in Japan. It's exciting to me. It convinced me that, you know, just kind of on the day-to-day, even on days when I wouldn't have a lot of money to spend, or, you know, I would find exciting or cool things to do, which is, you know, it's an inspiring place to be for me. I don't know. Also, right here, this part of the vlog, I'm at the Park Hyatt Jazz Bar. This is a life goal of mine. I've always wanted to go to this bar. And this is the bar from Lost in Translation, the Bill Murray movie. And, you know, it's a little ritzy. It was a little expensive. I remember, I think I even ended up paying for me and my friend's meal and stuff. Like, just because I was balling out of control on this trip. I had saved up a bunch of money, and I had sold a bunch of stuff right before I went to, like, really afford it. So I had a lot of money. So I think I ended up picking up the bill. It was like $200 or $300. And all we did was, like, drink. But yeah, this was one of my favorite things of the trip. Just going to this bar. The funny thing is, so I showed up, and I was wearing shorts. I'm wearing shorts right now. I'm wearing shorts right now. I wear shorts all the time, and it was hot, you know? So I showed up to this bar not knowing there's a dress code, and you can't wear shorts in this bar. You have to wear long pants. So me and my friend left, and two of my other friends stayed, and I had to go. I hopped in a taxi. We drove to a nearby Gap. It was like a Gap or Old Navy or something. And I hopped out of the taxi. I ran in. I bought pants. I didn't even look if they really fit me. I just made sure they were the right size around the waist, but they were just giant flared cuffs. Just not pants I would normally wear. Just so I could get into the Tokyo Jazz Bar. And it was totally worth it, but those pants were like $50-$60. Then I had to spend another $10-$20 on a taxi there, and then another $10-$20 on a taxi back. So on top of the $200-$300 bill, I dropped another $100 on pants and taxis just to get into the stupid bar. So I'm not a very smart person, is what I'm saying. Like, I feel like that's at least an interesting story of, like, so if you're gonna go to the Tokyo Jazz Bar, I think they call it the New York Jazz Bar, you have to wear long pants. They were totally fine with the fact that I was wearing like a Weird Al Yankovic t-shirt. They just wanted long pants. So I think they set the bar pretty low. But all my friends were dressed appropriately. I was just dumb. So don't be me. That night, I ended up crashing at my friend's place. They were staying in Shinjuku. So this is their balcony in Shinjuku. And they had the AC cranked all night, and I had no blanket, so I was on the floor freezing. Yeah. It was cool to see Shinjuku at night. Cool nightlife. It was interesting at least. This is just us shopping, going around different areas, back alleys. This is going to Nakano Broadway. Classic Nakano Broadway if you've never been. I could spend so much money. I think at this point, actually, in the trip, my friends had already left, so I was at Nakano by myself. My friends had already flown back, so I was in Japan by myself. Basically a solo trip for the last couple days. Super hot, super sweaty. I'm complaining about that. And then this last section is me going to Yokohama for the Pokemon card art walk, which was a very big Pokemon art display. Very hot, very sweaty. I won an Ichiban Kuji for a Gundam, and then I was complaining about how the Gundam was filling up my backpack.
80% full with the Gundam model art exhibit.
And then I was trying to find the art exhibit, and then while looking for it, I found the Suragaya video game. It's like an aftermarket video game store, like retro games and stuff. I ended up spending hundreds of dollars in there, getting I got like the birthday edition Sonic Adventure 2. I got a bunch of boxed Nintendo games, Marvel vs. Capcom.
I've been looking for this guy
and
forever.
Look,
I can't believe
Sableye. Sableye right there. If you can't see it on my shelf, I'm not sure if it's the same one. I have more than one Sableye plush. But yeah, Suragaya, Pokemon Center, and then I got to the Pokemon card art walk, which had every Pokemon represented by a different card in the series. Some of them were the classic art, some of them with more recent cards. But it was cool. It was very cool to see. And I was there on the last day, the 9:30. So that was the last day you could see it.
That was freaking adorable. There was
so yeah, Yokohama is very cool if you get the chance to go. I ended up going to a book off on the way out. I found a copy of Pokemon Crystal in the box, so that was sweet. And then the last thing I did before I left, I went home that day, and then went that night to see The Boy and the Heron. I saw The Boy and the Heron in person in Japan, and it was awesome. And so I got to see it months before it came out in America, even though I didn't know what the hell they were saying. So that was a really good trip. And you can see I actually tried to vlog a little bit at the end, but for the most of that trip, it was just me filming without narrating. So I'm glad I got a chance to kind of go over the videos again. And then the last section is just walking through this. I think this was in Shinjuku or Shibuya, but there was this back area. I think it was Shinjuku because my friends were staying there. But there was this cool back area where you could walk through this long kind of green area. And I remember I was looking for a bathroom forever before I found this area, and there was a bathroom in here after I had walked miles. Found a Japanese Subway, as in the restaurant, walked in there and used the bathroom, and then found this cool area. But yeah, so that is Japan trip 3, and that was the one that convinced me to, I don't know, kind of get my shit together, guys, you know what I mean? So those 3 trips, it was like an arc for me. Like the first trip was me convincing myself, oh, I can travel, I can save up money, I can do these trips, you know. And then the second one was me convincing people to go with me and having a good time with my friends. And the third one was me realizing, like, oh, I'm not just having a good time because I'm on vacation, I'm not just having a good time because I'm with my friends, I'm genuinely just enjoying being in this country, and I kind of want to be here for like my mental health like day to day. Like I will find something interesting to do every day here, whether it's just going to the convenience store or going to a park or finding a side area to walk through. I watch these vlogs of people who live even in the countryside and this like kind of idyllic farm lifestyle. Like I could see myself enjoying living in Japan, whether it's rural or in the city or somewhere in between, you know, near the ocean or far from it. Like, I don't know. It's interesting because right now where I'm at, I live not too far from New York City. I could go into the New York City every day if I felt like it, be about an hour drive. But if I felt like going to New York every day, I could, and which is not something a lot of people, you know, that's a privilege. You know, a lot of people would love to be in a situation where you could go to New York City. There are people all around the world who would die to be able to live here and go to that city. And me, I'm done that. I've worked in the city, I've been there, and it's just not what I'm interested in, because I guess maybe because I've been exposed to it since I was a kid or as a teenager. But when I'm in a city in another country, there's a lot more intrigue to it. There's I don't know, there's stuff that I just want to figure it out. Whereas like here, I feel like I've got it I got a good finger on the pulse of things, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. I recognize that I'm lucky to be where I am right now today, and that, you know, if I wanted to, I could go to New York right now and go film a vlog, and I'm sure people would find that interesting. But for me, doing these Japan vlogs, and, you know, when I'm feeling kind of nostalgic for it, I will watch my own Japan vlog just as a reminder of what the cool stuff I got to do. And yeah, so now I'm kind of like, well, how can I go more often or more permanently and experience it in a way that's like, I want to take it seriously. I want to go there. I want to treat it with respect. I want to learn the language. I want to contribute to, I don't know, something bigger than me, and I've never really felt that way before. So it's interesting. I guess when I'm looking back on these videos, I'm just like, man, it seems like just like a vacation thing, but now I'm like, man, I kind of like tapped into something that actually made me happy, and that's rare. Like not a lot of things make me happy or inspire me to go and do things, or you know what I mean, get outside my comfort zone. So yeah, I guess I'll probably end the stream, but that's kind of what I wanted to drive home, is that you might start out just being like, I'm a weeb, I like Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo, but you might end up being like, oh, I have a greater appreciation for culture in the world around me, and like, you know, now I want to travel and not just see Japan, but like the whole world would be sweet. You know what I mean? Not that I have the money to do that, but hey, you know what? If I get hit by a lightning lottery strike, deuces. You'll see me in Zimbabwe. All right, y'all. I'm gonna end the stream. If you watched, thanks for watching. My name is Max. I hope you have a good day, a good week, a good month, life, year, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.